I have a lot of people that come into the office and they're just complaining and complaining. Well, what I want to tell you and what I want to tell them is get that junk out of your mouth. If you're addicted to fast foods, if you need convenience, sure we need convenience. We got to be real. We can't make every meal on our own. But if you're eating a lot of junk food, then don't blame everything that's going wrong with you on that junk food system. Junk food is junk food. It doesn't do you any good and it does you a lot of harm. One of the big things it does is it changes your biochemistry so you don't have control. You don't have control, you don't have energy, you feel sick. If you've got a lot of physical complaints, then start taking some responsibility. Get away from that junk food. If you'll simply start eating better food, and I mean eating food that's closer to its origin, you'll see a big difference. The junk food is killing you in a sense. Now, it doesn't happen overnight, right? It doesn't happen every French fry that you're going to feel it. But if you eat a lot of junk food, if you're eating a lot of snack food, then not only are you going to crave those things even more, but it's going to cause you problems. It's going to cause you problems like fatigue. You're not going to feel very good. You may think you feel good, but not as good as you maybe at one time felt. You're going to have a problem with controlling impulses. You're going to have a problem with controlling your emotions. You're going to have physical problems. You're going to have mental problems. And it stems from the junk food. It's not anything else but that. It comes down to your diet in so many cases. So get that junk food out of your mouth. If your house is full of junky food, then clean it out and start over. You've got to do something now. Because if you don't do something now, you're going to psychologists, psychiatrists, because you can't control yourself. Because your moods are up, your moods are down. Your genetics are controlled by what you eat. Your body's controlled by what you eat. You're made up of what you eat. So if you're not giving the raw materials to your body that it needs, you're becoming somebody else. And you're becoming somebody else that you might not be enjoying being that person. The truth, you are what you eat. There's probably not many other true sentences like that. If you're eating a lot of junk food, you're building a body that cannot function. What most people do, they wait until they have something that can be diagnosed. Unfortunately, that's what our whole medical system has become, a diagnosis and a pill. Waiting until you have a diagnosis, until you do something about your health, is the biggest mistake I see people make. Do something now. Stop eating that junky food and start eating something that has nutrients in it. Start building a body that can function, that's healthy, and that feels good to live in. So put down that popcorn, put down that hamburger, go out and get some food that's good for you. Start shopping in places where there's healthy food. Start eating in places where they serve healthy food. Convenience isn't everything, so get away from the junk food. Unfortunately, conventional medicine has gotten real good at taking care of acute diseases. You get hit by a truck, fix me up. There's no system better than what conventional medicine can do to somebody who's had an acute episode. Now, you can't use those same tools on the chronic diseases. The acute episode, the doctor steps in, controls the bleeding. The doctor steps in and takes control of your physiology by giving you a medication. But you don't want to stay under that control. It's just like your car. If your car runs out of gas and you park it at the side of the street, the easiest thing to do would be to go get some gas, put it in the gas tank, and drive away. But you know what most of us do? Most of us, instead of going and getting some gas, you call up the tow truck and you have your car put on the tow truck, and then you have the tow truck driver drive you around. And then you complain that the rides may be too bumpy sitting in your car on top of the flatbed truck. The solution? Stop eating the junk food. You don't need to wait until a doctor can give you a diagnosis. Now, how ridiculous is that? You're not feeling so good. You're a little fatigued. You're getting small signs that your body's not working. So you go to the doctor. They do a little bit of lab work. And they say they can't see anything. They can't make a diagnosis. So they tell you you're healthy. So you just start getting used to the little symptoms. The headaches, the dry skin, whatever it is that you're complaining about. If you're not symptom-free, you're waiting for a diagnosis. Now, when enough symptoms are collected, when enough problems happen, when you can collect a picture that can be diagnosed, then the doctor gives you a label. And then they step in with drugs or surgery to take control. Why don't you get control of yourself? Why don't you take care of yourself? A doctor is just an advisor. They're not there to control your life, but you're letting them do that because you didn't take care of yourself in the beginning. And if you've got a diagnosis, the answer isn't in treating the diagnosis. The answer is in solving the problem. You know, when people get cancer, a lot of them suddenly get religion. And I don't mean just the spiritual kind. That helps as well. But they start taking care of themselves. Some people. They start eating well. They start exercising. They start really taking care of themselves. Don't live with the label. Do something about it. Again, we want to blame everybody else. You blame the doctor because they don't have a diagnosis yet. You blame Ronald McDonald because he made the hamburger. You blame some other junk food company. You blame the snacks because they don't make you feel so good. It's not the fault of the manufacturer. The reason that those guys make money is because you're out there buying it. Don't support them. Eat real food. Take better care of yourself. Solve the problem. I get a little tired of people that have a list of complaints and they're not willing to do what it takes to take care of themselves. So listen to me. Take care of yourself. Stop eating the junk food. If you don't feel so good, start taking better care of yourself. Make yourself a priority. That's very important. Thanks for listening.